Hi everybody, welcome back to the channel. Welcome to another airbrushing step by step. Today's video we're going to be doing a stone effects skull. We're going to move in now and take a look at the products we're using in today's video, and then we'll do some image transfer, take you through some masking, and then I'll see you back at the easel ready to paint. Right guys, we are ready to start. I hope you enjoyed that little video clip. Showed you all the little bits, things that we're going to be using. Now when it comes to the colours, I did that little piece for you with the swatch at the side. You can screenshot that. I just went in with the colour picker on the artwork and just pulled out. So basically it's one tone, but you're going from a very light shade of it and then darkening it off. Now I'm using the Dread Effects Custom Skin Cafe Noir for this, and I've basically decanted some out the main bottle, added some white, made it lighter, and done a couple of mixes of it, and I can bounce across these mixes. If I need to darken it up, I can just drop a black in, just start knocking it back with a little bit of black. I need some darker tones because you've got some real shaded areas in this. Now this is a very sort of detailed piece because you are blowing it up to fit on an A3, so it's quite small and there's a lot going on. Now you see me using application tape. You can use Pro Mask, but I wanted to show you the cheaper option if you wanted to go for the application tape. It will work. When I pulled it off the actual paper, it's coming off this quite well because the paper that I'm using is a De La Rowney System 3. This has got a texture in it as well. I wanted to have a texture in it, so when you spray over it, you'll get that sort of texture look with it as well. So it just adds to the effect using a textured paper. Now we might be able to do some erasing on this very lightly. We'll give it a go. I chopped the application tape out. If you've penciled over your application tape like you see me do, put it on top of the piece of paper when the projector was on, and basically went round again with the pencil, and you're just basically going round the outside edge. The reason why I've done it in a mask is when we've painted and put it down, we'll place that in a mask over the top and it'll just shield off for doing the drop shadows around the outside. Most of this is going to be freehand straight in, just using some shields. So when you do cut your application tape and you move it over to your cutting mat, if you've got a dark green cutting mat like I have, a good tip to do is put another sheet of application tape down first on your cutting mat, and then place the one that you've penciled on over the top, and it'll give it a whiter surface. So when you put your application tape over the top, you'll see your pencil lines that you've penciled on your application tape a little bit clearer. Plus, it'll give you 2 masks. You can do 3 if you like, and then cut through 2 or 3, and then you've got spare shields. So if you do mess up one, you've got duplicate underneath, so you can cut duplicate out of one. Just going over one, you can cut duplicate layers. So that will help. So what we're going to do is we're going to move in, and we're just going to take us time on this. This is going to be a long video because a lot of this is freehand, and we'll just work it in. First thing we're going to do is get the lightest tone, and we're going to tone the whole piece of paper. So we'll have the highlight tone out of the whole piece down first, and then we'll start going in with the next tone, darkening it and darkening it and darkening it. So let's move in and crack on. Right guys, we're going to make a start. We're using Cafe Noir, which is this one here, and I've made sort of lighter mixes of it. Added some white, made a lighter mix, and then if we need to tone it off, I've got a darker mix, and I've also got some transparent black that I can add to it just to start knocking it back. Now I want to do like just a pass of colour over the surface. I'm just going to go sort of mottled. Because we've got a grain in the paper. Spraying at different angles will give you different sort of shadow effects over the paper. Excuse the noise of the aeroplanes going over. Give it a light pass sort of all over. You can even do some little, probably not seeing that, just pull the trigger back without pressing the air, and then just press the air down on the trigger and it spits it. Dark patches, light patches, doesn't matter. Just a little bit more in. Give it a little tint over everywhere. You'll still see your pencil lines outside while on top. I'm just going in with this lighter tone, building it up. Like that. You can get like texture stencils like this, and you can just drop some little bits over like that, a little bit darker, and just put some random bits in. bigger one there. Well, that's the sort of first tone in. A bit in the centre of the eyes. Just going in where you see a little darker bits where they are on the actual image, and just drop a bit of a darker tone in. Around there. Right, we'll go for the darker mix. I'm just going to come in on this corner. Again, just going in sort of random. Just darkening bits out. Like that. Do a bit in this corner here. That's just the extractor running. Little dark tones. Like that. Just dusting over the centre bit. And just keep building this up. Right, I'm going to get a green. Let's see what we've got here. We've got another dark tone now. And so you can just build this up. With your tones. Right, I'm just going to start off on, I'm just going to drop some of this in the eyes. Go around this with this tone in the eyes. did the brush review yesterday on the Vallejo, and it was like it wouldn't have coped with doing this today. That'll do for that one. There's so much more control. This is the Giraldes with the Evo trigger, and it's just so much control in this brush. Go for the centre of the nose next. And this is nice because you can just work this freehand, because you've got so much control with this brush. You can do all the little textures and just work the trigger very, very comfortably, and the paint release is there when you want it, and because it's such a soft trigger you can really feather the paint. And literally just work it around like that. We're going for this crease here. Just creating little dots and little shadow areas. This paper is really nice to work on. You've not got to worry if you go over your lines when you're doing like a skull or anything like this, because it just adds to like the textures. And I'm not following every texture on, I'm just doing my own sort of little dots, lines. Just work it nice and like this tone, then we'll was the next tone up. And just build it up. Little squiggles. Doesn't matter if it spiders out a bit like that, it's giving it another texture. It's cold in the studio, and when you're holding a metal trigger, your finger goes cold, the tip of your finger goes really cold. You don't realise how sort of hard you're pressing down on the brush. It's nice to just get in freehand, you know, and work it all freehand. It's great. Around these teeth. With this brush you're not even really pulling back on the trigger, because we've got a real thin mix. Just feels like you're sketching out with it. Really does. So much control with this, because the trigger's really, see how soft that is. All you're doing is pushing down. When you push down on these with the X centers in these bodies, it gives you that little bit of release the minute you push down. So you're just slightly rocking it back. You can really sort of feather it. Not many brushes you can do that with. The Micron you can on the trigger. See some little dots and textures. Yeah, recommend this paper for giving it a go, I really do. Link in the description to this, you can pick it up on the site on the link. It's nice to work on. Gives you that textured look. As I say, I'm not copying every little bit. There's no need. You just make it your own. Bring your other hand up. If you're worried about like following lines, bring your other hand up and do a pass first. So you feel the direction you're going in, then bring your paint on and then commit to it. And your line work will start getting better. I'd rather paint doing like freehand like this than using shields, masking. It's quicker. You're not going to worry, you can go over your lines because you're going sort of light. I'm literally just buzzing over the lines now. Not hitting everyone bang on target, but we've got other tones going over. And if you do need to sharpen stuff up, you can do by having the odd shield. So don't worry if you're not mirror matching everything. bit more in here. I've just stuck the heater on. My finger is freezing cold on this brush. It's making it a little bit awkward to paint. In there. Little textures, little dots. And there's like, I've not got no tip dry, none. It just runs so nice. The FW. There has been comments on the channel where people saying, oh, they're struggling with flow. No dramas whatsoever. I mean, I've got ISO mix in this at the minute, so it is really thin. But if you want to get detail, you have got to thin your paints out. You really have. You won't hit it with thick paints. So the Dreadfix custom skin is available. Got some great colours. We're working this one in on a lighter tone. and you can just dilute this because the pigment's so strong. You can make a few bottles of powder, smaller bottles, just decant them across, mix some white in, make a lighter tone. You can drop a little bit of the black in, because we're going to have the hopefully have the transparent set coming out really soon of these, plus other colours as well, which is really good, so you can tint your colours down. And just work it up that way. Just gives you that little bit more control as well. I highly recommend doing a conversion with one of these Gerald edges, I really do. This brush has got more control than the new Infinity, way more control. And there were so many of these brushes on Facebook Marketplace. People were getting rid of them, and it's like, don't. It's the shortest body at the front, so it takes you the closest to your work. So if you've got the custom micron, you know how short that is. This is the shortest body on H&S's. This has got the mini cup on it, Evo trigger in this, and in the older bodies you get a softer spring compared to the newer one, so it's really soft. And you've still got your adjustment here, and this can go softer. But great control on it. Going to dust out on these drop shadows here. I'm not looking at the reference, I'm just doodling, just going in and dropping the colour in. Following the lines. I had another piece drawn up and I was going to do it, and I've got this video sort of half edited. I've got the beginning bit done where I introduced the video, and I had this penciled out ready to go, like what you've seen at the beginning of the video where it shows me projecting it and dropping the mask. We've got the masks to the side ready to sort of like place on a little bit later. But I had another piece of artwork I was looking at last night and I thought I'm itching to do this piece. It's a full-on colour piece. Really, really cool. But that's going to have to be a like a time lapse, because it's probably about a 6-7 hour piece, which will just be way too much to edit. But when I do it, I'll drop text up or a voiceover and sort of tell you what I'm doing. There's colour swatches and that in there, and you'll be able to screenshot the image and give it a go. But it's a great piece. That's coming together, slow but sure. I'm just using minimal paint, a little bit of paint at a time, a couple of drops. There's no need to overfill your cups, there really isn't. I'll look down here. Drop on that one. There. And drop the little cracks in. Do some random ones. Put these, you can drop these anywhere. Like that. Put on the edge of the paper. Like that. little bits down the side. Just literally spray up to the edge of the paper. Alright. People go, oh, you make it look so easy. But it is when you've got the right brush in your hand. I wouldn't be doing this with another brush, like one that hasn't got as good a trigger as this, because it just makes it just easier to do. Because you know you've got all your concentration now on what you're doing here and looking at the front of the brush, because you know this is absolutely on point. You just know you can just move it and be confident with it. It's just not going to let you down, it's not going to choke up, and you just paint. That's when you know you've got a good brush in your hand. And where you're not thinking of the trigger all the time. And is it going to release the paint? And really does help. Just set your paint on and just move, guide it. Losing track where I'm going now. Just going to see if there's any tip dry on it. None. You just keep painting. What have we got here? There's a bit of shading. can soon lose track where you're going when you're doing all these weird patterns. You can soon forget where you're going. That there. There, I think. Little squiggles. And then I'm not usually one for schools doing school pictures, but they are good to have a go at. Just build it up nice and slow, light tone, still on the light tone. Need to look where I'm going. You just hit hairlines. You can just go straight up to this. This is what I was saying yesterday about a detail brush. With that Vallejo, you couldn't go up and just go like, you can see how fine I can get this, just literally. You just put the paint where you want it with this brush. That Vallejo was, you're really trying to concentrate and go Oh, has it got it? Has it got it? It just wouldn't do it. It's definitely just like a, I mean, if I was doing miniature models, I'd want this type of brush for doing right up close, because I've used the airbrush as much as I could on a miniature model, because I know I can get really good down on detail. Like when I painted the Deadpool 3D print, I didn't even use a paintbrush on that. I just used the airbrush and painted the whole thing with the airbrush, all the details. I can get right in and just go put them tiny little dots of paint and shading where I want it. Right, I paint. Couple of drops. More cracks coming out. If you want to highlight a crack to make it look like it's standing out, you sort of do the white to the top edge, like that, and it just makes it pop forward. Like that, and do it to the bottom edges of your splatters, and it just gives it that 3D look. You can go darker on these little splatter bits, it just makes it stand out. And you can really darken this off with the next tone, and you go back in over here. Darken it, and then just go over the edge. These look nice when you do them with a scalpel, when you're on like synthetic paper. And then you scalpel, but you're not going to scalpel all the way, you just do little bits. And it really makes that look stand off. Line that out for now. Out of paint. I'm having to stretch to go up there. Seat's a little bit low. Do that top piece in a minute. Cool. Cross in the bottom. It's now off. I think I should look at the reference right. I'm not looking at it, I'm just doodling. You have sort of free rein with the skull. You've not got to stress too much on trying to follow everything. That's why I picked this one to do, so I can give it a go, because you can just colour it in. It'll get you on your trigger. And just get you on your shading as well. And just try and basically make every edge look three-dimensional to make it pop. We'll sit for hours. We'll sit for hours with this. Absolute hours. And not worry. I don't know how we're doing for time, but right, we're going to go in with a darker tone and just darken it off now. Just build the next layer up, and then we can punch out any highlight bits with a bit of erasing. And this will just set this back now. This is basically going in again, darkening bits off. And drop your textures back in. Just literally go round, start to darken it out. If you really wanted to sharpen it and your skills weren't great, you can nip over with a Caran dash. You see it really line it out now. Like that, then you can blend over it. You can knock that back. The brush is clean. You can just keep detailing it out. There you go, you can just see how we're sort of darkening it out now. And this is the Cafe Noir with a drop of black in it. Just darkening bits off. Then you'll just go round like this, then you put your next tone in. The top keeps catching the easel. Work it up. Don't want to just pop any little highlights out. You can just go around and just start brightening bits up again. And punching bits out, you're just sort of working over and over and over, building the layers up. Pigeons are out. Dogs are out. I don't think I'm going to complete all this in this video, but it's give you an idea of what to do. Probably got about another hour on this, and I'll have this done. So you get it to there. If you got it to there, just keep working it, sort of go around your edges again, and always sink your shadows back where you've got your shadow areas. Sink them back, line the bits out, sink it back, and then eventually you can get your masking. Just grab it. Lay your masking over. If it's going to level up, probably won't. You'll get it sort of close. That's not bad. That'll do. And then just, if you want, you can just sort of sharpen bits up by doing that. This masking is slightly off, but you get the idea. You can go around and just do your drop shadows like that. Off them bits with your masking. And just sort of sharpen bits up. And it can just highlight it'll just sharpen up your edges. Or you can go in with like shields and just start to punch out the bits around the outside like that, and it just sharpens it up. Like that. Just sets it back. But that's how I detail it, like that, and just keep working up. And you can always go back in with the lighter version of the Cafe Noir and just pop bits back in. Right, I'm going to take it to there, guys. Give you the sort of basics on how to build it up, and you can just keep working this. You know, you can go in with your Caran d'Ache pencils and then blend over the top, start sharpening things up with shields, but that gives you a look at how to sort of build it up. Building it up with your colours and just keep adding, you know, adding more shade in, and you can go in, pop some highlights out with an eraser, because you can get, we'll give it a go. I think it'll do it with an electric. You'll get a little bit off. You can just start punching highlights out. Little textures. Like that. Just think of all, if you're looking at the skull, just think of all the proud edges that are sticking forward. They're the bits you want to pop your highlights on. And you can really just keep working it. It's not the best electric eraser. Probably do better sticking it in a Dremel, the eraser part, and then you've got a little bit more. But all them little bits you put in, it just all adds. So you get the idea. Adding the textures and things like that. There you go, guys. We're going to call this one done. You can work a lot more on this and just keep detailing it out. It's quite detailed, but you've seen how we started off. We just did like one tone. We've got the Cafe Noir, which is a great colour for this. Sprayed the background and then sort of darkened it off. I had a couple of mixes of it. I got a black as well and just dropped a bit of black in later on. And you just build it up. You go around freehand, following all your line work, shading it, doing little textures, and you just keep building it up. Go for the next tone, lay it in, go for the next tone. And then you can erase on this. If you've got a stronger eraser, you can get some nice little punch out highlights, and you just keep working it, setting the darks back and the shadows. You can see we started working these in here, and I would now work this like this round and start dropping all these, sharpening all these up, all these like drop shadows in here, really sharpen it up and make it punch really out. And then when you get your masking, mine was slightly off, but when you place your masking on, you can really sharpen up these shadow areas coming down and punch that out, and then work your sort of highlights in at the end if you want, because you've come from light and coming up to dark, and then you can just punch over the top of your lightest bit, punch back to the white paper to bring them real sharp highlights out, and do little textures in the skull by just moving around with the eraser and creating little pinpoint highlights over the top, and it'll just bring it forward. But just remember to bring your high points that would be on your skull, would be these pieces here, top of the nose, tops of the, where your eyebrows would be, and then you'd have all this fleur-de-lis sort of pattern. You'd punch out the top edges and it'll just bring it all forward, and then you sink all your darks back. So you're just working, sort of bringing your lights forward, sinking your darks back. When you sink your darks back, don't go for that straight away, that dark. Go for your 3 mixes. So start light and then start to bring your darks down, and just take the tones down to then your very dark bit. And then it comes out and you get it to sort of like a standard like that, and you just keep working it. So I hope you've enjoyed it and picked a few tips up along the way. Brush, highly recommend it. Infinity Giraldes, if you swap the trigger over and put the micro cup on it, you've got an absolute awesome detail brush. You really have. Silky smooth, no finger fatigue at all. We was probably on this, don't know how long this video is going to be, a couple of hours, and it's like, yeah, I can now get on with the rest of the stuff I've got to get on within the day with no achy hand. Yesterday, that little piece we did with the Vallejo, Vallejo brush, was an absolute nightmare. My hand was cramping up because I said you was overcompensating for how poor the trigger was, so you tend to concentrate and you're just holding it that little bit firmer because you've got that little bit of slack and it's just not on point. But that, you can just sit with that all day. You can paint with it all day. But I've got other things to do and the studio's getting really cold. But good news is we've got a new heater coming Friday, so I've got to get all that fitted and plumbed in. Nice big powerful diesel heater, and we'll get the studio up to temperature and I'll be able to paint in here a little bit more. Because when you're sitting still doing like a step-by-step and painting, you're sort of in one position and the cold sets in, especially when you're holding the trigger. Your finger goes a bit cold. So yeah, hope you've enjoyed it. Drop your comments, tell me your thoughts. Link in the description if you are after a set of my paints. Highly recommended, and fingers crossed we've got the Dread Custom Skin coming out in a transparent set, and we will have a full colour range in transparent, so it opens up another doorway for your artwork, guys, because you are getting the FW inks, but then you're getting the transparents to go along with your opaques, and it just opens the doorways up to more possibilities of what you can do. So thanks again. Cheers, guys.